All right. Welcome to DC Dev Camp. On this Instagram account, what I want to do is provide a roadmap to help people get into the tech industry, help people get into software engineering. So, classes in session. This is the first step anybody wanting to get into software development should do, is you want to sign up to this site, github.com. What is github.com? GitHub, if you don't know, is a repository, a remote repository where you can push code, let it sit, collaborate with other developers. You can have people working on the same project, all this stuff. There are different types of repositories out there. GitHub isn't the only show in town. I like Bitbucket personally, because back in the day, actually, GitHub wouldn't let you get a free account for private repositories, and I would have all my code private. Bitbucket was one of the big players out there that let you keep private repositories for free. So, and I'm getting off topic, but Bitbucket is similar to Jira, and it's like owned by the same company. And Jira is heavily used in the industry. But anyway, that's not necessarily advanced topics, but for somebody starting out brand new, you don't need to know any of that. All you need to know is go to this website, github.com, and open an account. Why do that first? Because over time in GitHub, when you apply for jobs, you're going to put your GitHub account on your resume, and you're going to have all your projects that you've built, work that you can show employers. That's going to put you ahead of people that apply for jobs and they don't have any portfolios, they don't have any work they can show. If you have your code up in a repository that they can go and look at and see how you code, look at your code, see if you know what you're doing. It's a step up from just taking somebody's word for it that they can code. The reason why I think you need to do this first is because there's a place on GitHub where you can look at how much somebody is contributing or how active somebody is on GitHub. And say you're starting out now and you go to apply for jobs in a year, in a few months, in 2 years. Well, if you have 2 years of history showing, like the older your history is on GitHub, and they can look at it and be like, wow, this guy's really active, or this person is really active. That just makes you look good. And for you to apply for a job and say, oh, I've been doing this for years, but then they go and look at your GitHub profile and it shows you've only been active for 2 months. It's like, yeah, that doesn't look good. So what I want you to do first today is open up this account. Every tech company worth a damn uses some type of version control. If you get hired as a developer and the company you work for isn't using some repo that you're pushing up code to using Git commands to, Git isn't the only way. There's I forget what it's called. So I forget the name of it. There's other technologies, but everybody's using Git these days. And GitHub is just the name of the company. Git is a technology. GitHub is just the name of a company, and the parent company of GitHub is Microsoft. They bought GitHub. So GitLab uses Git. Obviously, GitHub uses Git. Microsoft uses Team Foundation Server, and that's kind of tied in with GitHub. It's owned by the same company. But yeah, I think the other thing is sub something. I forget what it's called. Let me Google that real quick, actually. Yeah, I had to Google it real quick. Mercurial is a type of version control. Tortoise. There's centralized version control and there's distributed version control. Git and Mercurial are two common types of distributed version controls. Subversion, that's the thing I was thinking of. That's a type of centralized version control. But anyway, what all version control is, version control is like, okay, I'm working on some code, then I make some changes. But say my changes don't work or they break something else, well, I want to keep a backup of how it was before. So like back in the day, what you would have to do is, like before you replaced something, you would copy what was there and save it in a folder, and you would name that folder like the date, like the year, followed by the month, followed by the day. And if you made a bunch of backups that day, you'd have to name them after that or number the same date or put a timestamp on them or something. But the point is you needed you always wanted a way to go back. And like just today, I was at work and I had to push something to production, and I had pushed it out to test, and I saw that it worked. So then I was going to push it out to production, but I knew it worked on test, so it should work on production, but you never know. And I pushed it out to production, and then the site was throwing an error. Well, not a big deal because, hey, I have what it was before I, pushed these changes. So I could always revert it back quickly. Fortunately for me, I had a clue what might have been the issue. And before I even reverted it back, I went and tweaked a couple things. And sure enough, that fixed it. So I didn't even have to go back. But had I had no idea how to fix it, not having a clue what the issue was, and say I just overwrote all the code, well, now the site is down for as long as it's going to take me to figure it out. It could take hours, it could take days, it could take weeks for you to determine, and you're going to bring a site down for hours, days, whatever it is. No. But anyway, that's the point of version control. First of all, what happens if you're making a ton of different changes? Then you've got all these different folders. I mean, that itself can be complicated. You've got all these different backups. How do you know what changes and what? Worse than that, if you're not working alone, if you're working on a team, just one other person. If two of you are working on the same application, say there's one file that I need to work on, but he's or she's working on something else that is also in that same file. And then, long story short, and I'm going to go into this more detail, I guess, later, but that's not the point of this video. This video is not to teach you what version control is. This video is just to tell you to open up this account. I'm not telling you because I'm biased towards. No, I'm telling you this because this is an industry standard GitHub. It's like the most popular version control system in the world. If you're going to apply for a job, you better have a GitHub account. It doesn't have to be GitHub. You could have Bitbucket. As long as it's GitHub, Bitbucket, some major version control system. But I'm just letting you know, it's like GitHub is like the Coca-Cola of version control systems. So you might as well just open up a GitHub.com account. Don't overthink it. Just open it up. And you don't even have to do anything with it. Just open it. I just want it open so that it can show today's date, so that someone can say, oh, he's been developing or she's been developing for a long time, versus you opening an account a week before you decide to look for a job. Secondly, you're going to be using Git. I mean, until they come up with something better, you're going to be using Git. If you want, you can start reading through the documentation. You can start I'm going to go over all this. I'm going to teach you what you need to know about Git. But take it amongst yourself. If you want to get a head start, you can read through the documentation. You can start practicing on your own. The more familiar with it, the better. But what I don't want you to waste your time doing is trying to memorize commands, because trust me, you will be doing this so much that you will have the commands memorized. Don't waste any time or energy trying to memorize these commands right now. And if you need to just type them out, do that. If you need to just type, if you're going to play with it now and you're going to type out git fetch, git pull, git push, and all these different commands, do that. Have your little notepad out and just reference it. Don't memorize it. Just have your little reference and you're good to look back on. Because, there's one of the biggest misconceptions. Listen, a software developer, I've been doing this for years. Sometimes I forget, I forget the syntax of some Git things. Like, how do I prune a remote branch again? I had to just Google it and get the exact order of commands to clean a remote branch, because it's not something I do every single day. It's something you do every once in a while, and then you do so many things you forget a line of syntax. You know what you want to do, you just Google it. What a software developer does is a master of Google, is a master of troubleshooting an issue, determining what the issue is, being able to think critically, and being able to look up how to fix it, being able to digest the information that you're reading when somebody's explaining exactly how to fix this issue. That's what a software developer does. And in this day and age, we have Google, we have Stack Overflow. These are the tools every software developer, every web developer, every software engineer uses these tools to figure out problems. This isn't back in the day. When I first started coding, there was no Stack Overflow. You had a book with how to program, and it had all these lines of code and all this syntax, and that's what you would have to do, reference a book. Nah, we're way beyond that now. We've got the internet, we've got Google, we have Stack Overflow. When you would be amazed, any solution, any problem that you come across, there's an answer in Stack Overflow. You can get as specific and detailed in a specific error code or problem, and you will find multiple answers telling you, or at least giving you a head start where to look, where to start looking to fix an issue. Not to say that debugging applications is easy, because it's not. And God bless you if you have a developer's job where you're just creating your own applications and you're writing them all. But like where I work or where I used to work, I still work there today, but I'm just on borrowed time. I put in my resignation papers. I've only got a couple of weeks left there, then I'm a free agent. But it is not fun work. It is we manage dozens of different applications written in every type of language you could think of, from technologies 5 years old to technologies 10 years old to 15 years old, and it's a mess. None of these people who wrote this stuff are around. They're humongous systems, some written by teams of dozens of people. There's an issue, you've got to go through this code, figure it out. These ancient applications written, it's not fun. It's not pretty. And yes, it's very frustrating at times. But when you can solve those problems, like yesterday, I solved this issue that's been an ongoing issue. When you do solve those problems, it's a rush. It feels like you just won the NBA championship. You feel like a king. But in between those winning moments, it's a lot of just frustration. It's a lot of like going through all this documentation and just looking at all these error pages, not having any idea. You having to figure out something was the servers. It was a server issue. It had nothing to even do with the code, and you're not a server admin. And how would you have even known that? And why have you been wasting days trying to troubleshoot something that was not your problem? These are the types of things that you deal with, sometimes, depending where you work. I've worked at other places that had one system written in one language, written in one coding stack, where you knew the system in and out. You were like the master of that system. And those are nice, cushy jobs. You don't have to think. If anything, you might get bored because you know everything. There's no challenge to it. But I'm going on a rant. And that's not the point of this video. Point of this video, open up your GitHub account. Now, as I talk, I'm going to go watch the video that I filmed earlier today on my phone. And I'm just going to talk over what I'm doing here. So here I am on the github.com website. Hit that sign up button. I'm going to enter in an email address. Put in your email. Put in a password. Choose a username. Now, very important. And I should pause it here. Very important. You want to choose a username that is professional sounding, because this username is going to go on your resume. The future employers are going to be looking at this username. So don't use no stupid, you know what I'm talking about. Don't use any stupid usernames. It's just going to make you look like an embarrassment. Don't use no cringy. Use your real name. It's probably not available, but you can use your real name followed by .net, or I don't know if they allow dots, but get creative. Use your name's dev. Use your name, first name, last name, dev. Developer, first name, last name, or just come up with some creative username. But just know you're going to market this username to employers. So don't choose no ratchet sounding username, okay? Now, back to the video. I put yes here. Would you like to receive product updates and announcements via email? Yeah, why not? And they might send me something important. You don't have to, but I put yes. They wanted me to solve some puzzles to make sure I wasn't a bot just creating accounts. I guess they have an issue with that. So just pick out the spiral. That was what I got. And then they sent a code to my account, to that email address I applied. I had to look at my email and put it in. Now, so once I checked my email, I got the code. I put the code in right there. I verified that I'm a human being and that I gave my actual email address. Now, right here, and I realized at the bottom that all of this information I could have skipped, but and maybe you want to skip that. I'm sure you can either put in this information later, or really I think what this is they're just trying to get an idea of what they can market to you. Because GitHub is free. Do not pay for this. Get a free account. But if you're some big corporation and you need an enterprise license, they're looking at what they can sell you. Then you're going to have to pay, a fee. If you need all this extra stuff, that you as a beginner do not need extra stuff. You just need the free account. So me personally, it asked how many team members. What I want all of you to do is just select just me. And you can always, that doesn't mean you can't ever collaborate with anyone else. No, you can always change this. They're just trying to get an idea of what they need to, like, those little emails, what to send you, or maybe how your configuration should look on your dashboard. But I guess I don't know. But anyway, I chose 2 to 5 team members because, hey, maybe I want to collaborate with some people and send them, I don't know. It asked if I was a student or a teacher. And I think they mean an actual teacher, like a professor in a university. I put a teacher because I'm trying to teach newbies how to code. So, but whatever. I put teacher. Let's see what else. See, down at the bottom it says skip personalization. You all can do that. Okay, what specific features are you interested in using? I read up through all this. I chose collaborative coding because I want to do pull requests. I want you all to interact with. I'm going to put up tutorials and I'm going to put up code that I want you all to pull down, make changes to, push up. So I want collaboration on my account. And you may want that too on your own personal accounts. But like I said, it's not like this is set in stone. When you select these things, you can change them. I think this is all just marketing, honestly. I also chose community down at the bottom because, hey, I'm trying to build a community. DC Dev Camp. I want to be a community of developers, period. You see on there it says security. Obviously, you're interested in security, and obviously the repo is going to be secure, but they're talking about other things that, like they're talking about, what does it say there? They're talking about, my repo is public because I want you all to see it. It's not private. Private is like my own personal code base that I don't want anyone to see. But you all want public repos because you want your employers to be able to look at your accounts and look at your code. So you don't want private repos. Yes, we're going to use, two-factor authentication. Maybe you use it, maybe you don't. But we're definitely going to use keys. We're going to use SSH keys and all that. Our accounts are going to be secure. But you don't need to check that security box unless you want to. If you want to, whatever. Anyway, so they're telling me, okay, DC Dev Camp, what you need is a free account. And I continued for free. Had I put, I want to collaborate with 100 people and I want to check every single box of these things, then they would have told me, okay, this is what we got for sale to you. But I didn't check all those things, so I'm going free. All right, so going to initialize my dashboard. Now, okay, if you followed along and I'm hand walking you through this. If you got to this point, this is all I want you to do. You created your account. Awesome. I'm going to go over how to use this later. I reiterate, this is the first class, the first lesson on your road to software development. I'm going to go over all these things. I'm going to go over Git. I'm going to teach you what you need to know. But this is just what I want you all to do right now. Now, if you want to get ahead of the game and you don't already know, obviously, if you already know all this stuff, you already have your GitHub account, and then awesome. But I'm talking to the people brand new to the idea of becoming a coder. I'm not only talking to them, I'm talking to everybody. I'm trying to build a community. I want some vets. I want some veterans joining this community. If I find really good resources that break things down super easily, that can explain things a hell of a lot better than I could, then I'm just going to say, hey, this is what you need to look at. This is what you need to read. If you want to go ahead, get started, go ahead, get started. You can read through this guide. I just quickly looked over the guide, looked at what it said. I'm just poking around, seeing what it says. Down at the bottom, right above where it says sign out, you'll see your username. I clicked on that to look at my profile. It's telling me I don't have any repositories. It told me I just joined 5 minutes ago. Scroll down, look where it says I made one contribution in the last year. This is what I'm talking about. This is where it shows your activity. And if I'm an employer and somebody gives me their GitHub account and I look at it and I see they've got one little green square, that just tells me, oh, okay, they're not very active on GitHub. And that's fine. But if somebody else is applying for the same job and their thing looks like a football field of green, meaning this whole square is covered from December to from top to bottom, from left to right, it's all green. It's gonna impress me. And hey, people, I've sat on a ton of hiring committees. I've read through dozens of resumes. I've been involved in the hiring of many people. Everybody on my team went through my hiring committee that I was a part of. Everybody on my current team at the job I'm leaving. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned for that next video to be posted soon. And subscribe to the YouTube channel once I get that created. But might take a week, might take 2 weeks. But I hope to have that YouTube channel cracking soon. Those watching this video that aren't followers, click that follow button. Share the video. Tell a friend. Tell a friend interested in software development. I'm laying out the roadmap. I'm giving up the keys to the kingdom. I'm opening the door and I'm inviting you all in. I'm going to make this easy. I'm going to break it down in a way that anybody could understand. All you got to do is pay attention, and all you got to do is listen. All right? Peace.